Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is Tuesday night. It is 6 p.m. Eastern. Is it daylight time or standard time? I have no idea. It's 6 p.m. Eastern time here, and this is the Essential Wrestling Podcast. We are in episode 18. I'm already slipping up. They, or some people might call it EWP X8. This is the Icon versus Icon episode. This is Chris Jericho walking the aisle at Wrestlemania with both the world title or the big gold and the WWE title and Stephanie McMahon all at the same time. And it said, despite everything else, never in a million years would I ever thought that I would hear NWO music at a WrestleMania, and we got it twice with Hollywood Hogan and Scott Hall both having matches representing the NWO. Glad you were with us. Speaking of WrestleMania X8, John Smith, you were there.
I was there up in Toronto. It was pretty freaking awesome. I got to meet Kane. He told me he benched 525 pounds. So that was pretty cool.
Now, I wonder if actually Kane sets his weights on fire when he does his workout. Is that maybe he feels, I don't know. And as always with us, once again, the first ever PWB champion, the living legend, John DeConnie. John, how are you today, pal?
Good. Great to be back with you. Good to see you.
Yeah, we missed you last week, buddy. And speaking of missing people, once again, conspicuous by his absence, is Tyler Adele. Actually, I did get a text from him earlier today. Let me just read it real quick. Hey, Al, it's Tyler. Sorry again, I can't make it tonight. I actually have a colonoscopy appointment to go to. Things are really getting messed up down there. Got to get it checked out. Please don't read this to anybody or tell the guys. So Tyler just can't be with us today.
We'll edit that out later. We're not live, are we?
On today's episode, we have the new Impact champion is Eric Young. The new NXT champion is to be continued. The next challenger for the the Universal Championship is Jey Uso. Unbelievable. The Mysterios ganged up on Murphy. Ryan Joy is going to join us later in the show to talk everything about New Japan going on this weekend. We're going to be making our picks for this week's upcoming matches, which is sponsored by ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends, play against the universe. And, of course, all those matches are going to be presented by MinutesToBellTime.com. They are our Elias Sports Bureau of professional wrestling. All of the graphics and the statistics that go with them are provided by Ryan Joy. And like I said, you will see him a little bit later. We're going to main event the show with number 29. We have no pay-per-views to pick. We got nothing. So I'm going to be that guy and main event the show with my stupid thing. We're going to come up with number 29 on my favorite WrestleMania all-time matches. Not the greatest. They are my favorites, and trust me, this one is. I'm probably going to get some heat for this one. But there are 29 weeks left till WrestleMania. We are going to celebrate all the way through to the end of March for WrestleMania 37 out in Los Angeles at the new SoFi Stadium, where the Los Angeles Rams and Los Angeles Chargers now call home, starting this weekend, actually, right? Football opens up. But we're going to curtain jerk the show, gentlemen. It was actually a lot of fun for those that saw our Inner Circle salute given to Facebook. We will not show that picture here, but if you know what an Inner Circle salute is, you'll understand why we can't show it. We got together for All Out. It was a lot of fun. And John DeConnie, in the main event, we saw Jon Moxley. He got the paradigm shift anyway. He wasn't allowed to use it.
Yeah. If I had one complaint about the night, which I really, really don't, that might be it. I talked myself into picking MJF, and then all week long I said to myself, the last moments of this pay-per-view are going to be Wardlow and I assume the lawyer in a neck brace at ringside Moxley gives the old standard front face lock Jake Roberts DDT position, and then flipping off Wardlow and the lawyer as he dropped MJF on his head. I felt like it was kind of a weird thing. Okay, I snuck in the move I wasn't supposed to use, but I thought there was a better way they could have ended it than that. But the match itself, very entertaining.
Yeah, I thought the match was great. I thought it was a great world title match. I thought MJF shined. He's going to get it eventually. I thought it was too early. John Smith, I think you were on the same boat with me. It was way too early. But they tried. Wardlow threw that pinky ring in there. He did his – I was going to say Jackson with quarterback, but I like Gardner Minshew. I'm not going to take a shot at him. Blake Bortles, there you go. Did his big Blake Bortles impersonation, missed MJF. And that's why the referee got distracted, because Wardlow was on the apron so that MJF could cheat.
Yeah, I was a big fan of this match, man. I mean, this really showcased what exactly MJF can do in the ring. You know, he pulled out every single trick in the book that he could, and, you know, Moxley was still able to overcome it. And I feel like this is going to continue because, at least for a little while, because MJF has a legitimate gripe. He could say that the title should be mine and it should have been a disqualification because of the use of the move. The rule isn't that the referee has to see it. It's just that he's not allowed to use it. So. Yeah,
and he does have lawyers at his beck and call. So it's not like, I don't know how long Mr. Sterling will be unavailable due to his match this past Wednesday against Moxley. I got a text earlier in the day on Saturday from a good friend of mine, Brian Eberly, big AEW fan. Big anything anti-WWE fan, so he's big on AEW. We want an MJF. MJF is going to be the guy. You can put him on talk shows. You can do this. You can really and he's exactly right. I just didn't think now's the time for it. And after a 20-minute to 25-minute promo that MJF just did not shut up for during that contract signing, I just was not looking forward to it. That was bad. He can talk, yes. He's a great heel, yes. Does he get heat when he talks? Yes, MJF is great. You got to dial it back because he was rivaling Seth Rollins' numbers right there back when Rollins was champ. Recap Raw every Monday for like 25 minutes. Like, dude, we know we watched that. Anyway, so and then going back, we had the John DeConnie. So I'm gonna throw this one because we didn't get your opinion on Mimosa Mayhem going into it. So we will get your reactions with Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho.
I think the match went, I mean, probably exactly how we all thought it would. And it was entertaining. It was a little bit goofy. It was a little bit laughable. But once again, me, I'm a straight up mark. Jericho is golden. Jericho can do no wrong. And even his nasty plunge into the mimosa was picture perfect. So
it was. I believe a couple of people held up 10s. Maybe a little rough on the dismount. I would have gave him a 9, but a little bit of a splash there. John Smith, your thoughts on, I guess, the Mimosa Mayhem? And I guess my question is, as we discussed, we kind of knew all that Orange Cassidy was going to win this. Where does he go now?
Maybe he goes after the TNT Championship next. He's got the most face heat right now. So, I mean, he can't go after Moxley. So, I'd like to see him go after, what's his face?
Wearing a shirt, dude.
Mr. Brody Lee. Yeah. I forget his name just because I'm so used to calling him,
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of. I was thinking about it, because Moxley's got the main event right now, and then Jericho's always in the match before. So, you're not going to take Jericho out of that spot. He's too big a name. So, it'd be interesting to see where Orange Cassidy goes from here. Against Brody, and we'll get into him in a little bit because he's got a match coming up tomorrow night. But like I said earlier in the evening, we're going to say this a couple times tonight because actually. As much as FTR, when they signed their contract and they had tag team appreciation night, this past week leading up to where we are now was tag team debacle, explosion. I don't know what you want to call it, but tag teams are not appreciated. And the first team we're going to talk about splitting up, and it finally happened, Adam Page and Kenny Omega, they lost the AEW Tag Team Championships in a doozy of a match And that looks like it's it. Kenny Omega walked away, John Smith.
Finally, it was so anticlimactic at this point, though. Good to see the titles on the Crevival, and that was a stellar match. 27 stars.
A lot of stars,
definitely. One, but
yeah, and then like I said, Kenny Omega, not even out of ringside, not up the ramp, tells the Bucks, "We go now," and the Bucks didn't go with him, but Kenny didn't get his gear, his clothing attire. Maybe he's left his cell phone in the locker room. He just got in the car and straight up bounced John DeConnie.
Yeah, didn't stop for a bottle of chalk. Didn't grab any of his accoutrement. He was just out. He wanted nothing to do with Daly's place anymore. I guess he was struggling. He did have that moment in the ring at the very end of the match before he kicked over FTR's bruise. Where he thought about taking the snack tray upside Paige's head. Mm-hmm. He thought better of it, but then he just needed to get away from the whole situation. Interesting to see exactly how they take the next step to what I assume and hope is turning those two against each other for what should be a long and glorious program. But how they get there, I'm not sure they even know yet, especially the way this all unfolded. Because it seemed like they were for it and against it, and we're going to do it this way. Well, maybe not. It has seemed like they weren't quite sure how they were going to do this all along. Now they're going to have to put up.
Yeah, and then in a great promo the Wednesday before, FTR, they were in Kenny Omega's face. You know who got the Adam Page? You know who got the Adam Page? It wasn't us. He got to himself. So it was huge, great promo by Dax Harwood. And here's a picture I found, and they're the first in history. They're turning into the modern-day Dudley Boys with all the belts and everything they're collecting. They are them, NXT, Raw, SmackDown. And there you can see in the bottom right, they are your new AEW World Tag Team Champions. So the Revival is going to make their bid. I guess Impact's next to them, right? Jeez.
We'll get them walking in the door there.
Yeah, all right. Yes. There was an 8-man tag team match that none of us got right. Nobody saw this coming. And the funny thing was, I called it. I think it was like during the match. I believe, look, you guys, the only way they lose is Colt Cabana screws up. I actually thought he was going to walk out. He wasn't seeing what he was liking. He was going to walk out, and that's going to cost him. But John Smith, this ruined our perfect pay-per-view. Colt Cabana. You bum.
It did. I finally was getting some stuff right on an AEW pay-per-view, and then it was the lock of the day. If there were Vegas odds on this, it would have definitely been the best odds of the night, and it went the other way. I like the match, though. I mean, it's woo, woo, woo. You know it. I like to see him coming around every so often. But, I mean, that's the only time the Dark Order is going to lose is shenanigans like this. Otherwise, they're gonna be stomping people.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Brody kind of, I don't want to say he took the high road. He really didn't throw out the. I don't say he let Colt Cabana off easy. Maybe there's something coming tomorrow night. Remember when Uno and Grayson lost their tag title match? He gave it to him. Reynolds and Silver lost. He gave it to him. It's John DeConnie. Is there something coming for Colt here? He's not a real official member yet.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't get his punishment, which is usually doled out by Brody Lee, but he got an arm around the shoulder from Uno and walked off, after the rest of the Dark Order had already left. But I fear that something might be coming for Boom Boom.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe Cole just apologized. I got ahead of my, because they were trying to build his confidence, and then this is what happens when Colt Cabana gets confident. He made a mistake, so maybe okay, this is your one. Do it again, which maybe will happen Wednesday, because now that we'll probably start to see a trend happening here. All right, now we're gonna break kayfabe here for a sec. Matt Hardy and Sammy Guerrero. Put their match aside for a sec. I guess the match went the way it was supposed to go. Now, here's the thing: was we all knew Matt Hardy was not leaving AEW. He was not going to lose that match. But when you call the bell because a wrestler can't continue, he has. I guess maybe they didn't want to rewrite. I don't know what they were thinking backstage, but they restarted this thing full well known that Matt Hardy was not for a loop, John DeConnie. Say what about Vince McMahon here. There's no way in hell. Use his phrase. No way in hell that match would have continued if this was a WWE match. He learned his lesson from Hell in the Cell '98.
Yeah, I think at best maybe they would have. I think the problem was they let Matt try to get up about 6 times and fall down. Then they rang the bell. Like if they had just kind of, taking him into that side door there in the stadium. And then they could have come back, 2 segments later in the show and just started brawling through the stands if he was, he had it all together again. But yeah, this was in poor taste. And I'm sure I didn't check Twitter, but I'm sure Reedy had some things unpleasant to say about it.
Ooh,
not pleasant to watch.
No, Matt Hardy's wife, Ripley, was not a happy wife right there. And I'm sure, I don't know if Matt has any to blame, if Matt even remembers this. I didn't hear anything from Matt yet. I know there was a report that came out. I didn't read it yet, but I saw some Rebby tweets, and they were not pleasant. We cannot repeat them. They're worse than that picture that we took on Saturday. But John Smith, like I said, as a football guy, like, we're all football guys. We're all excited for Thursday and then Sunday. And we know concussion protocol is a very lengthy protocol to go through and all this. That concussion protocol was literally probably 45 to 60 seconds.
Look, I had no problem with it restarting if it had just been some sort of roll-up. I mean, not a roll-up because it was a last man standing match, but some sort of something where Matt Hardy didn't put himself at risk at all, somehow. But to have him climb up that structure, 12 feet, however high he was, say he just slipped and fell, then what are we talking about today? And that was just uncalled for.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and like I said, that's why you gotta be. You put yourself. If that match wasn't Matt Hardy leaves, if he loses, then that match ends right there. Like there's nothing. It's over. But the fact is, like, oh my God, make sure he's okay. He's got to win, whatever, And then they climb him up, Johnny, right? Climb him up and make the situation. It could have been a million times worse because he couldn't walk, let alone climb a freaking.
Sami was pulling him up the scaffolding. It was ridiculous.
So we love the fact that AEW lets the wrestlers do what they want, and there's a lot of blood, and there's a lot of stuff that we missed from the Attitude Era and ECW, especially the older guys that were around during that generation. There's got to be a line somewhere, and I feel it was crossed, and that was bad even for AEW, and I'm sure hopefully they're going to learn from it. I said they're still new. Were they a year and a half old? They're 9 pay-per-views old. I think I did all their shows the other day, and now they're 9 pay-per-views old. So they're still learning.
Yeah, they should still know better though. They got professionals running the show
that have been around the business with Vince for a long time. Now they said this is the anti-Vince. Oh, we're gonna.
And then with the cons, with the Jaguars in the NFL with concussions, it doesn't make sense.
Back to wrestling. Hikaru Shida successfully defended her women's championship against the NWA Women's Champion Thunder Rosa in a promotional match. And Thunder Rosa in 2 matches, she had a match against Serena Deeb. Serena Deeb out of nowhere, by the way. They need to keep her. Keep her as a trainer. She doesn't need to be on TV all the time. Keep her as a trainer. Keep her as a locker room leader. That would be perfect for that locker room. But in one match against Serena Deeb and another match against Shida, Thunder Rosa has already shined brighter, John Smith, than any other woman has so far in that company. Even more than Britt, more than that one match Penelope Ford had.
Yeah, she's right on the same level as Hikaru. I still think Hikaru is just as good as her, but Thunder Rosa, I didn't know what to expect when I saw this match. I kind of skipped through a lot of stuff when it comes to AEW, unfortunately sometimes, but this was the first time I got really exposed to Thunder Rosa, and I'm a fan. She's probably my favorite woman in AEW now.
Yeah, she. Like I said, I tuned into the NWA a little bit late. I saw that last episode. She did not have a match, but she was set up for a triple threat match with Allison Kay, who she beat for that title. For those who know her as Sienna, or in Impact, or she was Allison Kay on the Indies, and Allison Kay was also in the second Mae Young Classic. Sienna can go. Allison Kay is a great women's wrestler. And there was a triple threat with those two and Melina, of all people. That was a Melina out of nowhere. So that was their big triple threat women's championship match ready for the Crockett Cup, and it hasn't happened. So if you're going to beat Allison Kay, you're somebody to me, John DeConnie.
Absolutely, yeah. And Thunder Rosa has shown us she definitely is somebody. You know, even if she had come in without the gravitas of being the NWA Women's Champion, she showed us that she is the most competent wrestler to be in the ring there with Cheetah. I thought that was a fantastic women's match.
Yep, very good. Very good, bro. Yay, women's wrestling. And then the last thing we'll touch on before we get into our picks for tomorrow night, the Casino Battle Royal. A lot of fun. I love how they enter in fives. This is the first time, I believe, that everybody got their own entrance music. Normally, they just throw whatever suit they drew, like the heart or the spade on the board, and the five guys would come out at once. Everyone got their own entrance music. I felt they kind of dragged it out a little bit, but that's just me. I like entrance music too, so I guess it was a win-win. But did we mention the Joker? We'll leave the Joker out of it for a sec. Because the joke was on him, right? Hey. Lance Archer, John. Me and you had Lance Archer. And that's, like I said, that's what we kind of were predicting here. That's going to set up Lance Archer and Jon Moxley next. And that's going to be a very hard-hitting physical feud. And this is going to be their second go around this year. They feuded, from what Ryan Joy was saying a couple episodes ago, they feuded over the IWGP United States Championship, which Jon Moxley currently has as well.
Yeah, it seems that since Lance Archer came in, that it was all leading up to this. I guess they had a long story for us. Unfortunately, he had to lose to Cody for this story to be told, but now he's on a whole new mission. Now he's destroying people, and now he's going to take that title from Moxley, in my opinion.
Oh, you're going to have him go all the way? All right.
Yep.
The match came down to Lance Archer and Eddie Kingston, and you didn't know how it was going to go. Eddie was with the turnbuckle, and Jake was like putting the bag on him. And who knows what was in the bag? And Jake was, and then I think Penta L0M, and I think the Butcher was the latter of the two. The Butcher, I think they were outside trying to pull Archer out because they were with Eddie Kingston. It was a mishmash that couldn't have gone either way, John DeConnie.
Yeah, it was a little. It got a little messy there at the ending. I don't know why. I mean, unless of course there wasn't actually a snake in the bag. I don't know why Jake didn't take the snake out of the bag. Although the announcers did try to kind of throw that in there, like all of a sudden this was Andre the Giant in 1987. Eddie Kingston is very afraid of reptiles. All right, whatever. I don't think anybody enjoys having a snake on them unless they're a snake handler themselves.
Yeah. I didn't realize that was common knowledge. I don't remember them mentioning that. I had no idea Eddie was afraid of snake. I guess maybe it's an assumption. John Smith, as our Andre the Giant historian, I know he is your favorite wrestler of all time. The only question with him with snakes, was that the fastest Andre ever ran in his life was when he saw Damien way back when. I never saw Andre that quickly.
Definitely the fastest I've ever seen him move, except for on his quad.
Yeah.
He used to ride a quad all over the place on his property.
Okay, then the rest of All Out, the Young Bucks beat the Jurassic Express after a BTE trigger. The Bucks have been all business since that turmoil match, since that gauntlet match they lost because of Adam Page. They're not laughing, they're not smiling, they're not doing their pose when they're walking to the ring. They're just strictly business Bucks here. I like that. Strictly business Bucks, and they're a lot motivated now that FTR's got those tag belts. It's going to be interesting to see where that goes. And a fun, they called it cinematic. It wasn't cinematic. It just wasn't in the arena. It wasn't like they filmed it ahead of time and edited it and whatever. But anyway, Big Swole and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, fought in Dr. Baker's dentist office. That was a lot of fun. Novocaine needles, dentist drills, or power drills, I guess, that they use in that office. That would be scary to see a Black & Decker going into your mouth instead of a normal dentist drill. But Britt Baker got the laughing gas and passed out. Big Swole got the win. And on the buy-in, Truck went up from New Jersey as Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss defeated Serpentico and Luther, followed by the Private Party beating Reynolds and Silver of the Dark Order. And this is where we stand right now. Here are our AEW standings after All Out. Like I said, John Smith, and myself, Colt Cabana got us. That was our one loss. We nailed the rest of the way. John DeConnie, 5-4. Brian Joy, he said it during the show. He was going on some limbs here. He was picking against himself. I guess that didn't really work out for you, Ryan. I guess we'll talk to you about that in a little bit. And then Tyler, we'll bring up Tyler for a second. 6-3. One of his losses, he actually picked question marks in the Battle Royal. I don't remember them ever mentioning a mystery opponent. Obviously, there was one. He was the Joker. He was Matt Sydal, and just like Tyler's pick, right on his back. You got to joke him. You got to Sydal. I like Matt Sydal. He'll be back. He's the third eye. He'll be all right. And this is where we are overall right now. Because everybody but myself, everyone's missed a couple shows here and there, so that's why I got a little bit of a lead on everybody. I got more picks under our belt. John Smith, he's catching up to Ryan Joy there, and when they're going to be right behind Tyler. So we'll see where that goes. And then here's that smiling point that I was telling you about that. I made a new graphic. Here are perfect PPV shows. They're called Hennings in my world.
Nice.
These are the shows that everybody's gotten right so far. Tyler got the Bash and Payback right. John DeConnie with Fighter Fest Night 2, Emergence Night 2. I got the Bash 2 and Emergence 2. And then John and Ryan both nailed Extreme Rules. The horror show that was that show. John and Ryan absolutely nailed it. So coming up tomorrow night on AEW, it looks like we're going to hear from the world champion Jon Moxley after his title defense. I'm sure Lance Archer will be close behind him, as it seems like it's his next. He will be his next challenger. Big announcement that Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford got engaged. But I guess there's going to be a big thing. Who's going to be the best man? The answer was simple way back when Jimmy Havoc was on the roster. He is not there anymore unless they some kind of change of heart. Any guesses on who would be the best man? Anybody? No idea. All right, that's why. Just leave it at that then. No.
They're gonna
a match on earlier this afternoon. It's a no disqualification match. Chris Jericho and Joey Janela had a match last Wednesday, and I guess that stemmed into this. I think Sonny and Hager got into it a little bit in the Battle Royal. Here we go. You got the Inner Circle versus Jersey. I know who I got. John DeConnie. Who do you got?
The Jersey in me doesn't want to do it, but come on. How am I going to go against Jericho?
There's certain exceptions to the rule of New Jersey. I know, and I know Jericho's one for you, so it's okay. John Smith, who do you got?
I got Jericho. After a pay-per-view loss, he's not going to lose this one.
It's going to get ugly.
And then, I said I'm going Jersey. It's fine not. You believe him? Like I said, they got one over on him last week. Let's just do it. Sonny Kiss with the pinfall on Jericho. Let's start that feud up. Sonny Kiss and Chris Jericho.
Oh my God! Could you imagine?
Jericho loves building talent. That would be awesome.
Imagine that feud 20 years ago.
Yeah. Right.
Impossible.
Oh, wow. I forgot a graphic. How about that? And a match just signed, actually, right before we went on air. All right, John Smith. We're both going to screw this up, as did JR on Wednesday. It is the Lucha Brothers and Jurassic Express. We owe push-ups for all the Lucha Express comments that we made. Should we put the names back up here? I forgot a graphic. We will get to it in a second. The Luchas or the Jurassic Express? John Smith, who do you got?
I normally pick against the Jurassic Express, but I'm going to go with them this time. I don't know why. I think that they shouldn't win. I think the Lucha Brothers should win, right? That's who is it. That was the Lucha Brothers, right? Yeah.
Not the Jurassic Brothers.
Not the Jurassic Brothers or the Lucha Express, no.
And like I said, we John, we're okay because I did it the one show. I think you've done it twice. JR did it on national television, so you know what? We're good. John DeConnie, who do you got?
I'm gonna go with the Lucha Bros, just because there's more of maybe the Butcher and the Blade or Eddie Kingston come out and do a little heel tomfoolery, and it's very easy for them to even get a non-clean win.
Yeah, if you got Eddie Kingston, the Blade, and the Butcher in your corner against Marco Stunt in a walking boot in the other corner.
I take the bunny.
I don't look against the Lucha Boys. That is my favorite tag team in AEW. I am going with the Lucha Bros on that one. And then, what possibly could be the main event, who knows? But actually, as per the match that we got Raw, John Smith, Dustin was backstage doing an interview post-match, all excited, got it for Cody, got it for Team Cody. And then it was announced right then and there that he will be the one challenging Brody Lee for the TNT Championship. I believe he beat Cody in like 3:30-something. 3 minutes, 30 seconds. You got the over and under.
I got the over. I think they're going to have a match. I think they're going to go 2 segments with this. It's going to be it's definitely going to be a Brody Lee win, though. I mean, I could see it go into like some sort of no contest where this keeps going or something like that. But I mean, I'm just going to take Brody Lee straight up.
Yeah, I got no reason. I honestly don't know who's going to beat Brody for this title, and I'll be shocked if it's Dustin Rhodes right now, John DeConnie.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do think it'll go over that 3:30 bar, but I was actually surprised when they were face-to-face during their match. I never thought of Dustin as being extraordinarily tall, but I do think of Brody as being a big bruiser. They were nose to nose. They're both big hosses. So yeah, I think this will be a nice, like John said, a 2-segment match, and I'm sure Dustin will make a good showing as he always does. But I definitely think Brody Lee will hold the strap at the end again.
All right, sounds good. So that is our AEW. There you go, Brody. John's got the shirt. He said he was going to wear it today. He wore it Saturday night in our Inner Circle Salute picture. And that will put a bow tie on AEW and All Out. Great show. Thoughts on the show overall? I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. Fun the whole time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no real complaints from me.
All right. Speaking of complaints from you, John. So Super Tuesday, we got everything we wanted out of that Iron Man match, with the exception of a winner. You laughed, you cried, you hurled for 60 minutes. It was action. It was the fun part. It was. I won't say total nonstop action because obviously that's a different company and a phrase or whatever. But the fact that you can take 2 guys and then rest 2 guys and then put everyone together and then rest 2 more guys, you're able to just keep the action flowing. I thought it was great. I thought it was everyone got their pinfall. Adam Cole took a couple of losses but bounced back. I thought everything. And then Adam Cole hit the last shot with like 5 seconds left, and he was trying to turn over Balor, John Smith, and it looked like Balor wasn't moving. I'm like, oh, like he's gonna run out of time. He's gonna run out of time, and it was got it just in time.
Yeah, I mean, the match was good. The ending sucked. I did call overtime. I called the wrong 2 guys. I did call a tie, but I also thought that they would have had them finish it out that night. I think it was a cop-out. I think they didn't really know what they wanted to do yet. And you never really hear me say anything negative about NXT, and I am not a big fan of how this match ended at all.
So, John DeConnie, during the match, we had 2 coup de grace, or they call them coup de grace, right? They pronounce P and coup for whatever reason. Finn Balor got 2 pins, both on coup de grace, one on Adam Cole, and then one at the very end on Ciampa. Gargano got a pin Balor after Ciampa hit Balor with the failure to ending. Gargano pushed Ciampa out of the way, got the pin. Cole hit the Gargano with the Panama Sunrise for a pin. Ciampa hit another fairy tale ending on Adam Cole, pinned him for that. That's how they all got their one. Like I said, Cole with the last shot at the end. Like I said, any complaints on this match? The match itself minus the outcome here. I don't know. These are the 4 best guys that they have. These are 4 guys that scream NXT to me more than anybody else.
Yeah. I mean, this was everything you could have asked for except a winner. This it was they even blocked it off well when guys were taking their breather. They were out of camera shot, so it wasn't like, oh, what's he doing over there in the corner, just kind of like peeking over the. Yeah, everything was done so well, and these 4 just can go forever. Yep. I mean, if there was 4 people that were going to do a 60-minute match, I don't know if you could come up with 4 other guys in all of professional wrestling right now that you'd rather see than those 4. So, once it was, stellar start to almost finish, and then we just had the cop out there at the end. But, we get to wrap it up tonight, right? Tonight.
Tonight, yeah. Tonight is Super Tuesday 2. Kind of should have saw that. I didn't know it was a 2-week thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I guess maybe we should. I was thinking overtime 2, and I'm like, oh, you can't. It would do overtime that night if it was. I'm like, how do you have 4 guys and not finish in the tie? And like I said, I didn't mention on air. We were rushing through everything last week because it was so much jam packed into that show last week. Our longest show to date, which we're going to try to never do again. And we just maybe should have just seen the overtime coming, but not extend it for the week. So, but here we go. Now we got to do it all over again. So we have the match that we've been talking about for a long time now that we wanted to see. Now we're getting it. So I guess maybe the light at the end of the tunnel here is we're going to have the match that's going to determine the greatest NXT champion of all time. You got the 2 longest tenured champions of all time. Balor put it on the map. Cole ran it for 500 days or 400 days and change. When you say NXT champion, these 2 are at the top of the list. So John Smith, as our senior NXT correspondent, we all had Ciampa last week. Actually, I talked myself out of Finn Balor taking Ciampa. But so here we go. Take 2, Electric Boogaloo. Who do you got?
I don't know. I think I'm gonna say Adam Cole just because we're not going to be expecting it. I think we're all expecting Finn Balor to win this match, so I'm going with Adam Cole.
Yeah, I had Finn Balor. I had Finn Balor last week, and like I said, I thought my rationale was like, oh crap, it probably still hold true. Like if the UK is starting next week, and we'll make it a point to do that, and if they're going to, because I know they have their own performance center over there, they have their own arena, so I don't know if they're going to Dublin at the end of October like they were originally scheduled to. You can't have NXT TakeOver Dublin without Finn Balor or Sheamus to be the first. Sheamus needs to make that trip too. Becky needs to show up, 6 months deep, But if it's not in Dublin, there's no reason why Balor shouldn't win this. I think this is Finn, John McConney.
Yeah, literally that is the only thing giving me so much, back and forth in my head because I just love that idea since you first said it. But prior to that, I would have said Finn without even a second thought because it's almost like putting it back on Cole. It's like we were just there. Like if he was going to drop it to Keith and Keith was going to drop it to Cross, and then like going back to Cole almost seems like we don't know what the hell we're doing here. So I want to say Finn, but I like your idea so much. But I guess if points were on the line, I'm taking Finn.
Yeah, it's like I said, Finn. They set up. It was supposed to be that TakeOver Tampa WrestleMania weekend. It was supposed to be Finn Balor and Walter for the UK Championship, and I kind of want to say Finn would be walking around with that belt still to this day until they were going to Dublin if there wasn't a pandemic. But like I said, who knows if they're gonna circle back to it? Who knows? We got to tune in next Thursday to find out. We're gonna find out tonight whether or not I guess that's gonna happen or not. But then next Thursday for the UK return. Also on Super Tuesday, we had a women's match between Candace LeRae and Casey Catanzaro that ended with a Candace LeRae face stomp that looked like it hurt very, very much. Casey was out for a little while, but then the post match. I don't exactly know, John DeConnie, what the oldest trick in the book is. I don't know the book. I don't own the books. I really don't know what the oldest joke is. But inviting somebody over to dinner, saying dinner's on them, with hash things that Tegan's gonna get whooped, unfortunately.
Yeah, something ugly is going to happen there. Saying I want to clear the air, but come on over to my home turf.
Yeah, John, they come over to where we've been shooting our crazy, videos with or the whatever the stream does. Oh, Tegan, don't fall for it. I was screaming at the TV, oh, Tegan, no, don't go. Yeah, anyway, I just figured I'd just bring that up real quick. Timothy Thatcher and Bronson Reed, they had, they didn't have the run-ins. They both want the North American Championship. Thatcher directly approached Damian Priest with it. Priest kind of laughed in his face because he was still celebrating. Bronson Reed said in an interview and was interrupted by Austin Theory. And what happened, John Smith? They had a match. Bronson Reed and Timothy Thatcher. It almost seemed like that was a number one contenders match.
Yeah, it seemed like whoever won that would have the rightful say to think he should get the title match. I think Timothy Thatcher versus Priest is going to be an awesome match if it happens. I like how Austin Theory interfered, and they're going to break that off with Reed and do a little program with them, get Reed away from the title for a little while, and then they'll probably circle back to him challenging Priest again.
Yeah, John DeConnie, somebody, I know you weren't on the show, somebody called that last week that Austin Theory was going to interfere. I forget who it was. Handsome guy, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember saying that.
But yeah, Bronson Reed does have that win over Damian Priest a couple of weeks ago.
Right. So he's a natural choice, but if you can drag that out a little bit longer, why not? Let Priest and Thatcher dance for a couple of weeks, even if they're not necessarily in the ring, whether they attack each other backstage, in the parking lot, whatever. Then you let the Reed and Theory do their thing, and like John Smith said, it all comes back around to Reed and presumably Priest, assuming he still is holding the title.
Yeah, and it said we're gonna get right at it right now. So John Smith, actually tonight we got Bronson Reed and Austin Theory. Austin Theory making his in-ring return in NXT. Had a nice cup of coffee with Raw. Didn't end too well, according to rumors that we will not get into. But he's back in NXT. Who you got?
I got Theory winning this one. Probably underhandedly, maybe even not. I think they've been building Bronson Reed up, so then they can use him to build other people up too. So I think that's how it's going to go. And then I think it'll also continue for a little while after that.
Yeah, get a cheap win here to get Austin Theory some steam back. I like that, John DeConnie.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes the most sense. Like John said, they've been building Reed for a while now, even with that, who saw that coming win over Priest at the time. So yeah, he's got plenty. Of course,
I saw that coming.
He's got plenty of momentum. He's got there's no worry about him taking a loss here. And if you're going to bring Theory back on TV, put him in the ring, you kind of got to win that first match, right?
Yeah, just get him to. I said Theory will win tonight, then lose the feud. And I said you're exactly right. So we have time. Takeover is probably going to be Survivor Series weekend. So however many weeks it is to that. So we got at least 8 weeks, right? So you can drag this. I mean, I don't know if they're going to do any more week specials like the Great American Bash in between. But yeah, there's no rush here. Give Theory the win. Yeah, by hook or crook. Hook some tights, powder in the eyes, Fuji, and let's see where it goes. What we didn't report last week that we there was a 6-man tag team match that I don't think any of us knew it was a street fight. I was pleasantly surprised to find out that was a street fight last week, John Smith. And actually, I'm going to start with John DeConnie here real quick. A shout out to Judy Bagwell. We saw a forklift. Yes.
Yes. We had We had Eichner and Bartel got involved, and Breeze was just taking a beating, and all of a sudden Swerve and the Dangler with stereo forklift dives to save Breeze. That was a heck of a match. And then we end with Swerve actually pinning the Cruiserweight champion. So guess what's coming down the line there?
That was exactly what I say. Swerve got the pin. Let's speak a little Lucha Underground here. Killshot beating King Cuerno. He's got to get the title. He's got a rematch, right? They just fought a couple of weeks ago for the title. It was like do it again, but now it's ladders. We can start making gimmicks here. Like let these two shine.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see the two of them in a ladder match.
And that loaded lucha mask.
Yeah.
Speaking of gimmick matches, we're gonna go. So we got a cage match tonight, which was, pardon my French here, but last night on Raw, it was being billed as the Battle of the Badasses. There we go. As Rhea Ripley and Mercedes Martinez, Ripley made the challenge last week in an interview for a steel cage match. Mercedes Martinez jumped all over it. This is going to be awesome, guys. I am excited as a athletic supporter for women's wrestling here. I'm excited for this one. John Smith, who do you got?
I got Martinez winning this one, and I'd love to see it in that Riddle and Thatcher cage that they had set up a few months ago.
What was the name of that cage? It wasn't a Lions Den. I can't remember the name of it. It was a. I know Ryan Joy's listening. I'm sure he'll chime in with what the answer is. I mean, down the comment.
I'm going to go with Ripley just because I don't really know what to expect here and how long this feud's going to go on. But, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, and the thing is, Robert Stone can run over by a tank again this week. Never mind. But the cage is going to keep Aaliyah and Robert Stone out. Especially if Robert Stone's got two walking boots here because he consistently gets run over by tanks. Aaliyah, I'm sure, will do what she can to get involved here, but I gotta go Ripley on this one. As much as I would love to be wrong, and I kind of hope I am wrong. I like Mercedes Martinez. I want to see her get a couple big wins in here under her belt.
The only way Robert Stone is climbing into this match is if they go back to 1984 and pull out the blue steel cage with the huge holes in it.
Ryan Joy just chimed in. It was called Fight Pit.
Fight Pit.
I don't remember that. Then again, what was for breakfast this morning? I don't remember. And then we had one more match that was signed for NXT. I guess we got a nice little feud here building. I guess Killian Dane, when it came out to save, he wasn't really trying to save Drake Maverick, or was he was just trying to get at the Undisputed Era from that jump attack where they came out so Adam Cole could talk trash to Pat McAfee. Killian Dane, he was the one that took one of the two guys that took the brunt of the beating, and now he's going right after the Undisputed Era on this one. And I'll just cut the line right here. I got Killian Dane, unfortunately. Undisputed Era just can't buy it. If your name's on Adam Cole, you're not buying to win. John Smith, who do you got?
Yeah, I got Killian Dane also. I'd also like to see him and Drake Maverick be some sort of tandem. Not a tag team, but just like the two of them, like Drake's always like around him like a puppy dog, and he's just swatting him away, You
mean like he was with EC3?
Basically.
So yeah, the big bulldog, that little yapper that kept the cartoons, the old Tom and Jerry. It was on Tom and Jerry cartoons. I forget who was in that cartoon. Anyway, John Connie, who do you got?
Give me Killian Dane as well. And the Undisputed Era continues to have a bad month.
They just had a bad. It's just been bad for a while. It's just they just can't buy a win. If they would have got those tag belts, that would have started rolling everything for them. But that's all right. Mongo has them, and we're good to go.
Pat McAfee's full.
So, Super Tuesday, the Tuesday Night Wars were born. It was only for it was last week, and it'll be again tonight. And then where's NXT might be moving to Tuesdays.
Yes, I was not the reason SpongeBob was used this week.
Yeah, that was just NXT's moving to Tuesdays, and they did it once. Now it's going to be a permanent thing. We had an Impact World Championship match. John DeConnie is our senior Impact correspondent. Unfortunately, you were not here to pick that match. You were not here to discuss it last week to preview it. I guess your thoughts before, during, and after. Let's do this.
Yeah, before I wasn't sure beforehand. I thought maybe they would try to drag this out, maybe all the way till Bound for Glory or shortly before Bound for Glory, and then maybe have the rematch there. So I wasn't even really sure Eric Young was going to say yes to this. And then once he did, I didn't see him taking it the first time around. And clearly I would have been wrong on both accounts.
Yeah, and he said it himself. I guess it was 2 weeks ago. He had a plan, and Eddie Edwards was playing right into it. And my thought was like, all right, well, for this match, it's not, I want the title in the long run. That's the goal here. But tonight, I'm just gonna kick the crap out of him. I'm gonna injure him. I'm gonna soften him up so I can win. He just, I was straight out took it from John Smith. He did cheat. The thing is, okay, so he used a hockey mask, which I'm cool with, because Eric Young's from Canada, which I'm cool with, except the fact that he's announced from, like, Nashville, Tennessee or something like that. Yeah, he's announced from Nashville. That almost broke my heart that Eric Young completely discarded Canada on this one.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. But I really enjoyed that match. I'm really happy that that he beat Eddie Edwards for that title. Just like Mr. DeConnie here, I thought it was going to happen later on, but the sooner the better, because I think that's the reason that he was brought into Impact to begin with, was to boost up that main event scene.
Yeah, so Eddie Edwards' open challenges come to an end. I believe he ended at 4. I'm sure Ryan will correct me. So he ended at 4. Cody ended at either 8 or 9. John Cena's 13 before he lost it to Seth Rollins, where he got his face smashed in, and then eventually lost it to Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. So John Cena is still the open challenge master here. I guess maybe the next time somebody has any open challenges, I guess going forward, we'll revisit this again. But Eddie Edwards at 4 didn't last too long. John DeConnie, a spillover from Locker Room Talk the week before. The Rascals, they got a squeaky clean win over Ace Austin, who just main evented Slammiversary for that world title we were just talking about. Yeah. And 9'7" giant, or however all tall Madman Fulton is, he's a complete monster of a man, and 2 potheads got him.
Yeah, it was Dez and Wentz got a clean victory. Dez hit a corkscrew tumbling senton on Ace for the clean win, and apparently it impressed the Machine Gun so much they offered him a rematch for the titles.
Yeah, so we'll get to that in a second. But John Smith, I guess your thought, like, what? You got Madman and Austin should have smoked these guys, pun intended.
and it wasn't a long match either, so I don't know what the thought process is here. Maybe this is the beginnings of the split of Ace Austin and Madman Fulton. That's the only thing I could be thinking of. Otherwise, what was the point of that? I mean, it builds the Rascals up, but are they really going to win those titles? Probably not. But then again, it is Impact. So.
Let's throw the graphic up now, and we will get into this now. Let me get rid of that for 1 second, and then the Impact Tag Team Championship. Like I said, post-match after the Rascals won. There we go. The Motor City Machine Guns came out. They kind of built in the excuse for the Rascals at Slammiversary that the Rascals weren't ready for them. They put out an open challenge. It wasn't fair. This time they're going to give them a week to prepare, and this time, it's going to be a championship match. And the Rascals were all over it. Who wouldn't be? And I guess if you're going to give the Rascals, they have to win that match with Fulton and Austin. I think this is going to be forgettable for Austin and Fulton real quick, and I think they'll rattle off a couple wins, and hopefully they'll be the ones that take it from the Machine Guns, John DeConnie.
Yeah, very well could be, or by that time it might be on the Good Brothers or somewhere else. But Yeah, I think Ace and Fulton come back around unless you're going to, like John said, split them apart and then let Ace go his way. I mean, personally, yes, I know he was in the Slammiversary main event, but I still think Ace's style would look so great in their very, competitive X division. I don't know why he's not, after ravishing Rohit.
Been there, done that. Like, I guess they got big. That's what I'm thinking. They got bigger and better things for him. I don't know if the tag team division's that already, but so John Smith, you said you got the guns, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In the opening match of the Tuesday Night Wars on Team Impact side, we saw Rob Van Dam and Sami Callihan with his little thumbs up, thumbs down thing, which I just do not get. Sami Callihan got the win, John DeConnie. He reversed a pinning attempt from Rob Van Dam. Katie Forbes, even Josh McIntyre, I was kind of getting upset with it too. Like the referee's right there seeing outside interference, no disqualification, didn't eject her. Just not like, is Katie Forbes just allowed to do whatever she wants out there? Like this is.
Well, yeah, I guess they, when you have a huge spot planned for the after the bell attack, I mean, you can't just toss her out when you've already got a plan that she's going to land a Van Assinator to the steel chair in the corner.
Totally cool, my next segment. I was just getting into it now. Have you ever seen somebody do a Van Daminator with their butt cheeks or with their hips or their ass cheek, whatever you want to call it?
Nope. That's why Katie is special.
John Smith, your thoughts on Van Assinators? Because then Rob Van Dam got his one too. He did the Terminator, right? When he does the drop kick into it.
Yep.
I'm getting my Van Dam moves incorrect here.
I mean, I would gladly take that move.
Yeah. John DeConnie, I know you weren't the biggest fan of Wrestle House. I thought it was silly fun. It was ha-ha to me. It was ha-ha. But they tied a nice little bow around it on Tuesday.
They sure did. We had Taya defeating Rosemary in a winner-takes-all match, which basically meant one of them gets Bravo. So Taya got her manager/lackey back, but Bravo wasn't going to let it rest there. Man got on one knee and proposed to Rosemary with some kind of black stone ring, which is perfect for his sweet little psychopath. And Taya wound up being okay with it, so everybody gets to go home happy.
Yeah, so that was the end, and the segment before it got to bring it up. The Deaners and Triple XL, John Smith. I don't know if you saw this. I was rolling. I was laughing so hard on the ground. That was amazing. That
must have been cut out of the replay that I watched. What happened?
Oh, they were playing ping pong, and they shot it in Diener's mouth. Jake Diener in his. There was just some really funny stuff. Then the freight elevator that he beat. He had the Fuji in there. Cousin Jake hit the Fuji.
One of the Dieners.
And then Susie got the win. She went in there, so they were fighting. She comes out with blood all over. It's like, wow, you're like, whoa. So Tommy Dreamer's going to look in and think, okay, that's gross. And then they look away. And then it's unlike WWE, like the mystery hacker, they solved the case. It was Crazy Steve that stole the Diener's beer because he couldn't see the names on the bottle. Boom, 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 boom. So then we'll fast forward to Deonna Purrazzo's black tie celebration. I did dress up for the occasion. Unfortunately, I don't have any pictures on record, but I suited up. Deonna says suit up. I suit up. Not only was it crashed by Jordan Grace, not only was it crashed by Tennille Dashwood, welcome back. We've missed you. I've missed you. All about you. I'm happy with that. So then you got Kimberly, and then all of a sudden, boom, Wrestle House is back in the Impact Zone, John Connie. And let the bleed begin.
Yeah, Samantha wiggled her nose and bippity boppity boop. Wrestle House is in the middle of the ring, and it all ends with Deonna bailing out and running away, and Kylie Rae, the number one contender, left there holding the Knockouts Championship.
There you go. And I saw Impact put this picture. Hold on. Impact put this picture on their social media pages. This is our women's division. These are the Knockouts. And I tell you what, you got Susie, you got Rosemary, you got Jordan Grace, you got two Jersey girls, you got Kylie Rae, Kimberly, Ty. This is stacked right here. Tennille Dashwood. This is a stacked division right here. If you're putting together a Survivor Series team here, I don't know if they beat Raw. I don't know if they beat NXT, but they would crush AEW and they would crush SmackDown. So, I mean, I'll rank them 3 right now. Raw's just, you put a Survivor Series, even if you take Asuka out of it as the champion, you still got Charlotte, Becky, Shayna Baszler, and Nia, and that's enough right there, so.
Shayna Baszler's enough on her own.
She's exactly, Shayna Baszler, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Well, yeah, this is your Knockouts division, and that's just great. That's just greatness right there. I'm excited. Again, athletic supporter for women's wrestling. And 2 of those women will be on another exhilarating locker room talk with Madison Rayne. As John DeConnie, as you mentioned, the number 1 contender for the Knockouts title, Kylie Rae, by virtue of her Slammiversary Battle Royal victory.
Yes,
along with Susie, that looks like Sue Young right there, the undead bride. I don't think she's undead yet, but there's blood on her hands, and you see it coming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, something tells me there's going to be a return.
Yep. And then before we get to this last match, we got to fast forward. EC3 was sending Moose on a scavenger hunt pretty much to find them. The post-credit scene where Moose found EC3's locker room. And the map on the wall, Ryan Joy was saying he was absolutely loving it with the diagram. And it got to Moose. It got to Moose. So it's going to be fun to see where that goes because that belt's going to get destroyed as Moose doesn't find them. And then Rhino and Heath defeated Reno Scum after Heath disguised himself as a cameraman. And what I enjoyed about this one, you're watching the match through Heath's camera, and then the camera goes down. And my first, God damn, Impact. Like, these are cameramen. And then they showed it was his camera. I'm like, oh, okay, touche, Impact. Touche, Katamore, and touche, Cyrus. So I got fooled on that one. Very good job. I liked how they actually went from Heath's camera and he got in there. Then again, Heath was chased away by Scott D'Amore because Heath is not an official Impact wrestler. And then due to a locker room conversation, TJP wants the X Division Championship. I guess Rohit Raju said you have to go through Chris Bay first to get to him. So here we go. Tonight we have what should be incredible, amazing. This is going to be just off the charts with TJP and Chris Bay. John McConney, who do you got?
Yeah, that is about as tough to call. I actually think maybe it's going to be some kind of no contest because don't you want to see all 3 of them in the ring together again?
For TJP's sake, yeah. Like that's I would see TJ just stretch the crap out of both of them again for 20 minutes.
Yes.
John Smith.
I want to go with TJP on this one.
All right. I'm going to go TJP as well. I think he's being the aggressor here. He's going to jump through whatever hoops Raju throws at him. And we'll go from there. And that will do it for Impact. That's the Tuesday Night Wars. So we will switch gears to last Friday night. Our new Universal Championship champion with his new he's not an advocate. I forget the word that Heyman used. But they opened the show, and Heyman John Smith, Heyman said it. He's like, listen, I was in obscurity. I was gone. Like, you guys know I was fired. This guy brought me back. This was Roman's idea.
Yeah, he brought him back to be his special counsel. That was the title he gave himself. I mean, how could we not like this? We've been begging for Roman Reigns to be a heel for years. We never got it. Now we're getting it. And then, you'll always have your smarty pants online that'll just hate everything that's WWE. But, let's see how this goes. I think it's going to be awesome as long as it's, semi-permanent. If it's just like a 1 month thing and it ends up being Roman Reigns was getting back at Paul Heyman and beats the crap out of him for all the stuff he did to him with Brock Lesnar over the years, then I'm not going to be too big fan of it. But I'd really love to see the two of these guys together for at least 6 months to a year.
Yeah, they go through the WrestleMania. Like, I think, why not? John, at least to WrestleMania, at the very least. And then maybe a little bit thereafter. It's hypothetically, whether Roman, if he's still champ at that point in time, whether he defends and retains or if he actually, if he loses it.
Yeah, give me Paul Heyman, 6 days a week and twice on Sunday. Yes, it makes Roman more palatable because I think everyone over the age of 12 was, doesn't really love the whole Super Cena, Super Roman. It doesn't matter if it takes, 15 Superman punches. He's going to win it all. Give him an edge. He's already kind of talking. They've dropped little hints of this is his island. They're hinting towards his Polynesian heritage. Maybe after this match with his cousin, we see some kind of group put together with the two of them or whatever it may be. I think Heyman will only enhance it. And again, I'm, for the first time in a while, excited to see Roman Reigns.
Yeah, people have been wanting, and now it'd be interesting to see how long they enjoy it for because, WrestleMania 35. That's all I'm going to say with the wrestling fans. Give us what we want. Give us what we want. Okay, we'll give you what you want. You want Kofi as champion? Got it. You want the women in the main event WrestleMania? Got it. You want Becky Lynch as you got it. And what happened? Where is he? That's what they did. That's what they did on Kofi Kingston, on Becky Lynch. It's never. It's gonna. I don't know.
Give me what I want, so I can bitch about that too.
Now he's supposed to be booed. So you know what? Once they get, that's fine. I'm still gonna be happy that he's whatever. I just hope that Heyman and Lesnar are still together. I hope Heyman gets on both shows. That'd be fun seeing him twice a week. That'd be great. Yeah, but Roman, I guess during that promo, Paul Heyman said, we're gonna be better than Raw. We're gonna do everything better. They had a triple threat for their number one. We're gonna have a fatal four-way. And I saw the graphic. And I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna give it to Big E. Big E. Kofi's due back. Kofi said he's only been gone for 6 weeks, right? So Kofi's coming back at some point soon. Now's the time. Roman Reigns versus Big E perfect. I'm in. 5 minutes later, Sheamus attacks him. And Big E's out. But then as the night progresses, you can see, Jey Uso's there, and then I guess Heyman was the one that made it possible for Jey Uso to be in that match, John Nagani, as you mentioned. So now we got cousin versus cousin. When families feud, this is right up there with Brett and Bulldog or Brett and Owen, and whatever families have feuded. I don't remember. Hardys, yeah. Obviously the Hardys have, the Dudleys have. Sure. Christian have had some wars. So John Nagani, your thoughts on this fatal four-way? He pinned Matt Riddle.
Yeah, it was a nice, clean victory. He got to hit his frog splash, and it was a good match. It was entertaining, and Uso comes out of it. Again, I'm still, like I started to say a little earlier. I don't know if eventually they're gonna have a fantastic match, but Roman holds on to it, and they shake hands and hug afterwards because they're cousins, or is Roman gonna go full heel and just beat the holy hell out of his cousin? And solidify himself as scumbag Roman.
I think he has to do that eventually. John Smith, Darren Corbin, Sheamus with the other two guys in this match. I believe, again, Matt Riddle He went with the bro to sleep to the floating bro combination here for the win. No bro Derek. And no bro Derek, which proved to be costly for Mr. Riddle.
Yeah, I think he needs to get Bo Derek to walk him down the aisle at WrestleMania this year.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, but as far as this, I mean, we got what, 3 more weeks before Night of Champions, or 4 more week Clash of Champions?
Yeah, week 3 of football, so 3 weeks.
Yeah, so I mean, I think this story is going to play out where it's going to be like, yeah, you should just, lay down to me, or just don't show up, or, do this, do that. And he's going to be like, no, this is my only chance that I've ever had at the title. I'm coming for it. And then Roman's going to destroy him eventually at the pay-per-view. And, maybe it forces him to come into a group with them, or I don't know how they're going to play it out, but I trust Paul Heyman. So that's all I can say about that.
Sasha Banks and Bayley got their rematch, which we'll get to the celebration of 19 years in the waiting with those two. But before the match happened, I direct quote Michael Cole. Coming up next could be the greatest tag team champion match in this show's history. No. Do you not remember that Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle feuded with Rey Mysterio and Edge and the Guerrero right at the very beginning? Like, I was laughing hysterically. He just shot it up that far that Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defending against Sasha and Bayley is the greatest tag team championship match in SmackDown history. But all right, so fast forward through the match, because the match is pretty much irrelevant for those for gentlemen. For Steve Kroger, so what happened was it was the exact opposite of Payback, where Shayna Baszler beat them both at the same time. This time it was Nia Jax's turn to hit a flying crossbody off the middle rope, pitting both Sasha and Bayley. So the champions retained, and then it happened, and then said 19 years later, John Smith, you're pumping your fists here. Bayley, it's tough to do a heel turn when you're already a heel, but she managed to pull it off.
Absolutely. I was just thinking, finally, and please make it good. And she made it good. She kept going, and I thought it was going to be over, and she just kept going and kept going and kept going. And we've been wanting it for, on this show the entire time. Outside of this show, it's probably been 1.5 years, 2 years that we've really said, all right, come on now. It's time to stop beating around the bush. So now we're going to get them at Night of Champions. Then we're going to get them at Survivor Series. Then we're going to get them at the Rumble. We're going to get them until WrestleMania, I think.
Yeah, well, Sasha's going to be out for a while. She took that chair right on the collarbone, which I don't know was meant to be your throat or a collarbone. I don't want to say surprise entrant and win the Rumble, but she could be out for a while. John DeConnie.
Yeah, they can go a couple of ways with this, but in the end, we're gonna get what we want, and it'll be 5, maybe close to 6 years later that we get a repeat of what 2015's match of the year. Obviously that's what it's all building towards, and I'm sure it'll pay off again because those two have great chemistry. I'd be very happy if we kept microphones away from them between now and then, but I certainly want to see them in the ring together.
Yeah, I kind of wish a little bit closer to WrestleMania, because I said to be fun. Football season starts Thursday. We're in week 1. The Royal Rumble is in the bye week of the conference championships and the Super Bowl. So we have an entire football season plus playoffs to the Royal Rumble for those of you scoring at home. Can you keep Sasha Banks out that long?
20 weeks?
To win the Royal Rumble or be a surprise entrant and then win the Chamber to challenge? Can you stretch this to WrestleMania? I guess is my question. And my other question is, what the hell is Bayley's problem? Bayley's been the one losing. None of this was Sasha's fault. What the hell is Bayley's problem? I thought that was a little weird. Like, why is she so pissed? She just got pinned too. Anyway. And then we had another altercation with Sami Zayn, Jeff Hardy, and AJ Styles. And I apologize right now to Sami Zayn for not calling him the Intercontinental Champion because, as you can see right here, not in my notes.
On your notes, what are you going to do?
And then also Heavy Machinery got another win over Miz and Morrison after Otis hit a Caterpillar and a Vader Bomb on the Miz for the win. Morrison then stole the Money in the Bank contract, which Miz pointed out the same thing we were all thinking. Like, dude, that's not how it works. Yeah, just steal it. So all the yelling, all the being and complaining about Adam Page and Kenny Omega and Sasha and Bayley, and we get them both in one episode. Like, oh my God. But wait, there's more. Because Raw last night, long story short, and we'll get to it, completely disbanded their tag team division. But first we'll start with El Hijo de Mysterio with his padre, his madre, and his hermana. Hermana? Sister? Hermana, was that right? Okay. Dominic Mysterio and Murphy in a street fight. No Seth Rollins. Murphy trying to make amends. John Nicani, your thoughts on this?
Fantastic. Going off the air with everyone, including Aaliyah, beating Murphy with kendo sticks. Come on. What more do you want?
Yeah, it was all. Murphy ended up quitting because they were doing to him what was being done to Dominic, hitting him from front and back with the shirt up. Wasn't quite getting him as hard. Nice to see Mrs. Mysterio. Little southpaw action there, swinging left-handed. I appreciated that, John Smith.
Yeah, I think it was a little much. I mean, they should have put their back into it if they were gonna go out there and hit him, because after getting slammed over 100 times, literally, you think he felt anything from the two ladies hitting him? I don't think so.
As a mother, she should have been behind. Her hips would have been in. She should have taken batting lessons the day before if she knew she was going to get a couple cracks. She should
have been jamming that kendo stick in his eye socket for what he's done. But I mean, other than the end of the match, the match was awesome. It was better than the two matches he had with Seth Rollins, in my opinion. It just goes to show you how great of a wrestler Buddy Murphy really is. I would love to see him break away from that and, just get away. He could be an Intercontinental Champion, this time, or not even this time next year. He could be by Royal Rumble if he really put his mind to it. If he got away from Seth Rollins.
Yeah. And then that's how. And then. Throughout the entire night, there were two themes. One was Randy Orton getting Claymored, and we'll get to that. But the other was tag team division completely crumbling right before our very eyes. We're going to start off with a six-man tag team match with the Hurt Business against Apollo Crews, Ricochet, and Cedric Alexander. Thought it was a little weird that Ricochet and Cedric had separate entrances. Cedric got jumped before the match started. Fast forward during the match, I guess Cedric had some kind of epiphany during the match and jumps Ricochet, turns on him, later in the night joins the Hurt Business. So when you're in a 4 tag team division, down goes one, John Nicani, and I know you love tag team wrestling. Yeah. I'm just referring to this. That's one tag team down.
Yeah, and now, it's one thing for them to, dismantle the tag team division. This was a team that I think we all kind of felt like, we can't wait for their run. We hope they get a run with the titles, because they're just so good together, and they're just so good separately as well. But they legitimately work well together, and that's exactly the kind of team we really could use to see in the WWE tag team division. And I suppose we're not going to see it anytime soon.
I've been pitching John Smith. How many shows now have I bet against the Street Profits for Andrade and Angel Garza, who we'll get to in a second, to beat them so we can have an Andrade and Angel Garza versus Cedric and Ricochet feud.
Yep. Well, I mean, from one tag team disbanding, you can at least hope that Cedric and Shelton Benjamin might come out of it as a tag team. And I mean, I like Ricochet, but he's no Shelton Benjamin in my opinion. So, I'd love to see the two of them be a tag team and, get some gold inside of the Hurt Business.
Yeah, some more gold, actually. So then later on the night in the MVP lounge, they give Cedric the official shirt. Shelton seems a little skeptical. We'll let that slide for now. I don't think Cedric's going to do anything right off the bat here. They gave him the official T-shirt, the I'm in, the gold. Then there was an 8-man tag match because Apollo Crews, Ricochet came out with the Viking Raiders. And it was a fun match. But that ending, okay, with the combination of Ricochet kicking out at 2, the match ending saying it was a pinfall, Cole saying he can't, there was somebody screwed up somewhere, and I think it was Ricochet. Pretty sure Ricochet wasn't supposed to kick out. And then right before that, Ivar does his Superman dive, hurts something cervical, I guess. I didn't realize Ivar had a cervix, but now Ivar's gone, so that's 2 tag teams. Thank you, John DeConnie. So that's 2 tag teams down out of 4. So now we're down to the Street Profits and Angel and Andrade, and we'll get to those 2 in a second. But now the War Raiders are on the shelf.
Yeah, that's
John DeConnie, I'm sorry, you laughed at my joke. You can go first.
Yeah. No, that was a little bit heartbreaking, Ricochet messing up, kicking out of the Michinoku driver cover, and then seeing what might be the end of the Viking Raiders for a little while. Oh dear Lord, I guess it's time to have some call-ups from NXT.
Yeah, so
I don't know about that.
Oh, John Smith, go for it.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say. I think they might be leading into unifying those tag team championships.
Yeah, and we're gonna get to that. Before we get to that match, the Street Profits once again, I guess, because the week before their match was interrupted by Retribution. They fought Andrade and Angel Garza again. Angel Garza wanted nothing to do with nothing. He was getting blackballed by Zelina and Andrade for running away twice the week before. One, you kind of could have gave him a little bit of credit for to try to save Ryan Shamrock or whatever her name is. Try to get her out of harm's way. Then running and then leaving Ryan Shamrock in the back. What's her name? I keep on forgetting it. It's funnier this way. But anyway, Zelina, she stayed and fought. Andrade got so that breakup. Now we're down to 1 tag team. The Street Profits are the tag team champions of Monday Night Raw in a 1-team division. But then here comes Smackdown Tag Team Champions. Like you said, John Smith, Cesaro, and Nakamura, they dusted off that interpromotional wild card thing they started with Charlotte a couple months ago. They dusted that off. I guess, you know what? If all else fails, they have that in their back pocket.
Yeah.
Champions versus champions. Here we go. This is not, from my understanding, this is not a title unification match, as you're going to try to predict, but I'm kind of seeing the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it could end in a legit fall. It might not. I don't know. It's not for the titles this time around. I think that's what they're leading to. You can throw up SpongeBob if you want. I heard something from. I'm sure it might have even been in our group chat or something about them doing a draft again soon. Did you guys hear anything about that? I don't know. Not that I think it's going to happen, but if they were to do that, I would like to see them throw all the tag teams on SmackDown and maybe all the women on Raw. Maybe do a title unification on the women's stuff too, and then have a secondary women's championship, like an Intercontinental, rather than 2 world champions of such a small group of ladies. I mean, it's still only, 25 chicks they got between the two shows? Maybe not even.
Yeah, probably less than that, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, how are you going to go split them up, then try to run stuff with them separate? You know, I'd like to see them together. I'd like to see an all-women's show eventually so they can, get the spotlight more, but that's, another conversation, I guess. There you go.
I'll let you finish talking first before I put it up. But I would love to see an all-women's show. But I don't think they would. Yeah, they are having, from what I heard, October they're having a draft. No reason why they can't do with the men's tag titles what they're doing the women. You can have two different shows with tag teams, but just have the champs going back and forth.
Well, eventually they're going to be on the road again, so they're not going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
The two shows travel separately.
Who do you got in the match? It's completely slipped my mind. Who do you got? Street Profits. You got champions versus champions here.
The Street Profits haven't lost in so long. It's hard to pick against them, but Cesaro's my dude, so I'm going with Cesaro and Nakamura.
All right, John Licani?
For the same reason, I'm going to go the opposite way. Cesaro's my dude, but he always seems to kind of get, the old elbow, so I'm going to say the Street Profits go over.
Yeah, I guess Street Profits on this. I'm kind of hoping, give the Street Profits this one, then maybe, at the Clash, if they do a title unification, that's when hopefully Cesaro and Nakamura can bring it home. Although Street Profits on two shows, that's going to be tough for Vince to pass up. Not for us. That's going to be tough for Vince to pass up. That's not.
Yep.
And like I said, the tag teams breaking up is one theme. The other theme was Randy Orton getting Claymored. The score is now 3-3 between punts to Claymores. Randy punted him 3 times. Drew McIntyre came back, and throughout the course of the show, Claymored him 3 times, including one during a match with Randy Orton and Keith Lee. That Keith Lee got beat. He got RKO'd. He was about to get beat, but Drew McIntyre came in to save the pinfall. So we didn't get Keith Lee's first pin yet. Who knows? Maybe he would have kicked out of an RKO. Who knows? Guess we'll have to wait to find out another day. And then actually we have a Raw Women's Championship match. Asuka and Mickie James, they had a tag team match against Natalya and Lana, which was pretty much a game of one-ups womanship. Between Asuka and Mickie was going to go for some type of move off the top ropes. Asuka gave her a little tap on the tush for the tag in, came in, choked out Lana. They got the win, but that sets up the match that they were promoting all night, and that is for the Raw Women's Championship. You have a rematch from TakeOver Toronto way back when, I think it was 2016 maybe, between Asuka and Mickie James. John Smith, you giving Mickie a shot?
Yeah, sure. Or are you talking about in the match, I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely, yeah, there you go. I'll definitely go with Asuka. If Asuka's my girl, you know that, but if anybody were to beat her, I would love it for it to be Mickie James, because, I think she's still got it, and she shouldn't be just laying down for everybody. I don't see it happening. I would love to see them do this again at Night of Champions, though. Clash of Champions. Why do I keep calling it Night of Champions? It used to be called Night of Champions?
Yeah, it used to be.
Okay.
I like how Randy threw in it. I was looking, every championship has to be defended. We haven't had a show. That's what Night of Champions used to be. Right. One night a year that every championship had to be defended. Like WrestleMania didn't even have that. Yeah. John Licani, who do you got?
I'm going to go with Asuka, but like John Smith said, if anyone was going to pull an upset kind of out of nowhere, I'd love for it to be Mickie James, and I hope it's at least there's enough intrigue in it, it's enough back and forth that it does get repeated, because, Mickie can go, and I have no problem with seeing her and Asuka run it back multiple times.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go Asuka too. What are they gonna do with her at the Clash? It'd be interesting. I don't know. I guess Charlotte, right? The next match, we'll just gloss over real quick. It reminded me very much of the main event of WrestleMania 5 when former tag team partners Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage, they had to split up. They exploded. The Iconics had the same situation. It was very reminiscent of WrestleMania 5, the Mega Powers exploding. Peyton Royce got the spinning suplex that she's been doing as a finisher for the win on Billie Kay. They did have a nice embracing moment afterwards. But they set this match up after Peyton kind of threw Billie in to get her head kicked off by Justin Duke. It's pretty funny. Then the Riot Squad, they had two handicap matches. The first against Shayna Baszler, which they won with a little help, not with a little help, a little distraction, unintentional distraction by Nia Jax. And then during the second match, Retribution spoke. They got their mission statement. John Smith, you're already shaking your head.
I just don't like the voice box thing. Just use your real voices. Come on, own up to who you are.
Okay. You see, I recognize that voice. I know who it is. Listen, I have it queued up. This might be infringement. I apologize if I'm stepping on anyone's toes here, but here's footage from last night. Okay, you got it? I don't know why it's not playing when I turn it off, but...
Are you going for Dr. Claw? Nails.
It's nails! This is... I solved it! I got it!
That blows me out of the water. I thought it was the Shockmaster.
And then Kevin Owens and Aleister Black, John Smith, you've been saying for a while, let's take it to the underground. It's exactly what Kevin Owens and Aleister Black did. Your quick thoughts on that? We are running over again. We still have to get to Ryan Joy in New Japan.
Yeah, I definitely like the idea of them in Raw Underground, but it should have ended, or at least, there shouldn't have been a third party involved to end it.
D'Alcano ended that quickly. He slammed both of them pretty hard, John DeConnie.
Yeah. We got a power slam, we got a choke slam, and then Shane just called an end to it. See you next week. So,
yeah,
should have gotten some kind of wrap up.
All right, so that was Monday Night Raw. Like I said, they announced actually two matches for us, which is pretty cool. That's not very un-Raw-like. We got some matches coming up next week. Gentlemen, we're going to give you a quick little intermission so you can go get some groceries. That's what you were saying. So we'll see you in a quick second. We're going to bring in Ryan Joy, our senior. Oh, let's get that graphic. I do that every week. We get that graphic live. We're going to bring on Ryan Joy, who was our senior New Japan correspondent, amongst other things, because we have a lot branching out right now. But first, getting into New Japan Pro Wrestling. How are things going right now? Because we have that tag title tournament still rolling forward, right?
Yeah, we have one more day of traditional tournament, and then we go with into the finals. So tomorrow morning we've got two matches, and there's your first one, Blue Pants, as you like to say it, with versus Ishimori and Gato. I should say that Bullet Club tandem, they're out. They cannot make it anymore.
That was my next question. Once we get to the next graphic, when we look at LIJ, who's been running roughshod, 2 wins and 4 points, they clinched the spot in the finals, right?
That's right. They are in the finals, and they're going to be facing either the team of Desperado and Kanemaru or the other team of Taguchi and Wado. So it just depends on how the wins and losses end up, but that Bullet Club team, they're out.
Yeah, who won the match between those two, between Desperado and Blue Hair?
Desperado. And
would that be the tiebreaker? Like, is this even relevant right now? I guess they could. Okay, never mind.
If Hiromu and Bushi lose, they get 4 points, and then if Gato and Ishimori win, so you just kind of see how it comes out.
All right, so who do you got on this one? Who's your prediction for the finals here? LIJ's clinched it. That's one part. Who do you got coming out of the other two?
I think you'll have Desperado win that match. I wouldn't be surprised if Hiromu and Bushi lose this match in their final block match here.
Yeah,
but I think they're going to win overall.
Well, that would be the thing. If they would lose the final block, right? That would be. You could possibly have a 3-way tie with 4 points then, right? If LIJ loses that match.
You could. It's very un-New Japan-like to do that. But I feel like you got LIJ all the way.
I'm all about that. I love those two guys. It's a huge LIJ. I'm still upset about the whole evil thing.
I think it's actually very possible that LIJ loses tomorrow, and then they have to face the same team again in the finals. Yeah, that's what I say. Then that would be the one that they win. So they're already going in. That's like I say, wrestling 101, right? But when you lose one, then going into the other. It was the same with football too. It's tough to beat a team 3 times. They always say, right, when they go into the playoffs. Right. Now those matches are tomorrow morning, starting at 5:30 a.m. So those matches that we just put up, and then the winners advance to the 11th. Yeah, the 11th.
Yeah, on Friday. Yeah.
Yep. And that's when the finals will take place.
And then also on Friday on the 11th, on the U.S. side of Aew Japan, Kenta's got to put his championship opportunity on the line here.
Yeah. So just to get these dates straight, tomorrow's the 9th. The 11th is the tag team finals. That's actually Saturday. This match here is on the 10th. That's Friday night, right after Smackdown. Kenta, if you remember back in the New Japan Cup USA tournament, Kenta defeated Jeff Cobb, but it was through a low blow and an inside cradle for a quick pin. So he cheated his way through. So Jeff Cobb's all kinds of mad, wants his rematch, wants that briefcase. So this is Kenta's first defense of that briefcase. And it's kind of just like the G1. The G1 tournament winner has to defend the briefcase several times before they actually get the shot. So.
Yeah. They have it. Now have they mentioned Mox? Have they mentioned Wrestle Kingdom? Is this going to happen on Wrestle Kingdom? Like, is it even possible to get to Japan right now? Like, I don't even think it's possible, right?
Last I checked travel regulations, that you couldn't. Like, I could not go there. Whether or not Moxley could find a way to, connect through some other country and stay there for 15 days and then go over, maybe that's possible. I don't know, but as long as Moxley's got the AEW World Championship, I don't think he's going to be taking 20 days off to go over to Japan. So
maybe unless Lance Archer, injures him.
Right. I was thinking maybe MJF. You notice I'm a lot shorter beard here these days.
Yeah.
MJF and lost. So I lost the whole.
My Islanders are still alive. They survived Saturday night, so mine's still going right now. This is the bushiest I've ever had a beer. I got made fun of on Facebook by a couple of my close friends, and they just got so they were making fun of me. They had a good time at my expense. But and then like I said, we got Ring of Honor back this weekend, Ryan.
Well, before we go to Ring of Honor, one big thing on New Japan.
Okay.
Tomorrow morning during the show, they are going to announce all of the participants in the G1 Climax. So traditionally, that's a 20-person field. I don't know what it'll be this year. We have less people over there. But tomorrow, between the 3rd and 4th match, they will outline all the participants and the lineups for the 19 events that are going to happen between this October 18th between September 19th and October 18th.
Yeah, it's a month-long tournament. You got to win 10 matches, right? You got 9 in pool play and then the finals, right?
Yeah. So what the deal is, it's a round robin. You got 2 blocks. We'll just say it's 10 people. You got 2 blocks of 10 people. Everybody wrestles each other. You get 2 points for a win, no points for a loss, 1 point for a draw. And in that situation, you also have if ties are broken by who defeated who in the block.
Yeah.
So then you have at the very end, you have the point leader in the A block and the point leader in the B block. they wrestle each other on October 18th in Ryogoku in the finals.
Yeah, so you have the two division winners. It's just like normal sports. You have a regular season. You have the two division winners. There's no wild cards involved. This is like more old school baseball than anything. Yeah, that's it. And then the winner gets the briefcase, quote unquote, or the contract, or whatever it's called. And that's their first ticket to main eventing Wrestle Kingdom, is winning the G1 Climax.
And regardless of what some commentators will tell you about the King of the Ring being the most prestigious tournament in wrestling, I think this is the most prestigious tournament in wrestling, and it's the G1 Climax 30. So it's the 30th.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, I would love to, just some kind of like sideshow, the WWF doing something crazy like this. Just, Raw, 10 people on the Raw side, 10 people on SmackDown.
Oh, I think it'd be great.
10 people on NXT. That'd be fun too.
Yep.
And then, like I said, I'm sorry, I forgot the G1. The G1 is important. We will be bringing that back up again. But then, like I said, we have the Ring of Honor starting back up, that Pure Tournament Championship.
Yeah, and the Pure Tournament, this is kind of a crazy set of rules that they have. You only get 3 rope breaks, and then after that, you're on your own in terms of getting out. Outside interference, the punishment for outside interference is the outside interferer is fired from Ring of Honor. So serious business. Our guy from the All Out pay-per-view, Matt Sydal, he'll be in the tournament.
Yeah, I'll throw up the brackets real quick. Here they are. Yeah.
Yep, there you go. So I will say, I think, with my expert Ring of Honor opinion over here, I think Gresham and Lethal, they are the current Ring of Honor tag team champions. You see one on top of the A block, one on top of the B block. I think they both make it all the way to the finals.
They're going to go tag team champion versus tag team champions. That'd be pretty awesome. I would love that Jay Lethal and Dalton Castle matchup in the first round.
Oh, I know that. That'll be a fun match for sure.
So Ryan, thank you for that. Then we got a busy week next week. We got the G1 to talk about. We got this to talk about. We're gonna bring John and John back in real quick. We're running. I guess maybe it's just an hour 45. It just seems to be our go-to. No matter how hard we try, we cannot get it under an hour 45.
Yeah. Next week we'll talk about the NWA returning as well, because that happens a week from today.
Yeah, like I said, we have a lot to discuss this next week, guys. We have, like I said, the NXT UK is back. A homework assignment for everybody. The last NXT UK event was it's going to be on the WWE Network. It was on April 2nd. It was the Thursday before WrestleMania. There was a huge battle royal to determine the number one contender for Walter's United Kingdom Championship, and what a doozy. It was a great show. So all of us, we're going to rewatch that. We're going to talk about it next week. Ring of Honor's back. G1 Climax is starting up. And like I said, the NWA is starting back up as well. So those are on YouTube, right, Rye?
The NWA show is actually going to be on Fight TV. It's called Primetime Live is the name of the show. United Wrestling Network. It's $24 for 4 shows. But you can expect big title matches on every show. Okay,
cool. And they said we know one definitely for next week. They said Nick Aldis and Mike Bennett. Oh, Mike Bennett.
Mike Bennett, formerly known as Mike Kanellis.
Always known as Mike Bennett.
Everything to prove here.
And like I said, the last thing we're going to do, we have a little bit of time here, and now we're going to unveil. Got my own little graphic out. The only graphic I have for this, I haven't made up a picture or anything yet. Now it's top 30 favorite WrestleMania matches. We're less than 30 weeks away from the WrestleMania 37, our Super Bowl, our World Series event for professional wrestling. This year taking place in Los Angeles. Number 29, because there's 29 weeks left. Last week was Tito and the Executioner. This week, drum roll, please. Maybe I should get a drum roll. That'd be a fun little graphic. But yeah, probably going to catch some heat for this one. I don't know how many like it, whatever. Good news is it's a Chris Jericho match. But it was Chris Jericho and Fandango, if I said that correctly, for WrestleMania, what was this, 29, right? Was that the Meadowlands?
Wow.
You know what? The fun part is Fandango's first match in WWF was at Wrestlemania against Chris Jericho, the quote-unquote GOAT. Jericho had to put him over. Why am I putting that graphic up? We have it on there. There we go. Long story short, here we go. I'm going to put SpongeBob up for this one. I guess Jericho was saying, I guess he was upset that he had to do it originally. And then the Undertaker came in. He's like, dude, you know how many times I've had to do this for people? Like, shut up and do your job. And Jericho's like, yeah, I guess he's right. So there it is. Chris Jericho went out on a limb and put Fandango over, and it's been magic with us and Fandango. And you know what? When you have people yelling and chanting and screaming in your music the next night on Monday Night Raw, while Randy Orton of all people are trying to cut a promo and the crowd singing Fandango's music, boom, fire. And I believe he got injured shortly thereafter, and that ended all that. But,
and only one of those two guys is currently wearing gold.
yes, that's correct. That's correct.
The Dangler.
So that will conclude our show. We had no bills to pay other than the ones that we have here, and that is subscribe to Ryan's Body Slam Brigade newsletter at minutesofbelltime.com. Last week's newsletter, a great in-depth look of Jon Moxley's 2020 in both AEW when he won the title, all the defenses even before that, along with his feud with, and we're going to circle right back to it again. He had a couple matches with Lance Archer for the United States Championship that Ryan has documented in this newsletter. So, again, awesome. Subscribe to it, like it, love it, be a part of it, make it a part of your life. Same thing with this podcast. We are back for episode 19 next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Again, I do not know if that's Eastern Daylight Time or Eastern Standard Time. I just take a guess, and if I'm wrong, well, I can just say it's a tribute to Bianca Belair because she is awesome. So thank you very much. Please go to YouTube, subscribe to the I-95 Sports Network to get notifications for the show. Like us, love us. Thank you so much for watching. For Ryan Joy, for John Smith, for John DeConnie, thank you so much for watching. Alexa Bliss, we love you. I gotta get this graphic. There we go. Alexa Bliss, we love you. Tyler, we miss you, buddy. We hope you have a good appointment today. Hope everything checks out okay. minutesofbelltime.com. John DeConnie, take us home.
Yes, sir. Thanks for joining us. And as always, we wish you the best in all your future endeavors.
Business is booming.
Booming.
Boom.